Welcome to Tech Times Daily. I'll be your host for today, Christian Tejares, and with me is my co-host, Chris, the king of risk, the bearded menace, the man with a phobia for delayed paychecks, Tech Times editor and the editor of his own destiny, Mr. Christopher Short. Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm good, man. And a great introduction, dude. I like that.
You like it? We'll be
Yeah,
doing this every week.
yeah. It's going to be a different one every week.
The next week would be you. I mean, we're going to be doing this on a daily basis now. I guess we should
Right.
inform our audience.
I was talking about the dope ass introduction. Is that going to be the same, or is it going to change every time you do
We're
it?
going to be changing it up, but
That was
for
pretty
tomorrow, it would be you. So the audience would
good.
be looking forward to it.
All right,
Anyway, so
bet. Yeah.
how has been your week? Like we missed 1 week because we had to prepare for this one. But how are you guys? How have you been?
Yeah. Well, just been waiting to get back on full time, man. Things. When starting a podcast, I think one of the most difficult things is like scheduling and getting everything sorted before you jump in, right? Like it's kind of hard to just jump in and go.
Yeah,
It does, maybe I don't know if people know watching or whatever, but podcast isn't just recording yourself talking. Like there's a lot of planning goes into this shit.
yeah, it is. That's why we're actually encouraging people to, if you like the content, please subscribe, like the video if you think it's dope, and
Yeah,
show us a bit of support so we could actually continue this if you actually like the content.
yeah,
So
sure.
yeah, we're gonna be doing a rundown. I think a deep dive on one topic for on a daily basis right now. So for the first topic that we chose for this week would be coming from one of our Tech Times writers, Aldon Domingo, and his topic is AI offers benefits but will destroy employment. It comes from a claim of a chief economist. Like Goldman Sachs Chief Economist John Hatzius says artificial intelligence could reportedly kill jobs in some areas, but maintains that it would also boost job opportunities in other areas. Even though he sees AI as a productivity booster, he believes that because certain jobs in the labor market will be somewhat replaceable and it will destroy jobs in some places. Well, how do you like that? It seems to be something that we've been discussing for the past year now.
Yeah. I mean, not to take away from this gentleman. I'm sure he's very well versed and a very educated man, but I feel like it's kind of stating the obvious, right? Like some places, some sectors are going to be hit hard, others are not, and new sectors are likely to arise, I think.
You would have to think like this happened before a lot of times, like with new technologies coming in, like AI being brought to the forefront doesn't necessarily make it just a unique thing. Like the internet actually coming in is actually pretty similar if you kind of think about it. Like I could think of one innovation that we have right now that pretty much killed entire industries. Like just having the smartphone available for us killed a lot of jobs for some people.
Well, I
But we
mean,
do adapt.
operators, you remember
Yeah,
those
but we do
ladies that
adapt,
used to
right?
like, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, if you think about over time and the technology that we use, like I seen a meme, right? That was which is basically today's funny section of the newspaper. I seen a meme that was it was a picture of a helicopter with a cameraman,
Yeah.
and then beside that is a drone. Don't need a helicopter pilot, don't need a cameraman. If you have a drone, you are now me and you with our 300-400 bucks can now do the exact same thing that a helicopter pilot and an experienced helicopter pilot and an experienced cameraman were doing with and us have no experience.
Yeah. Speaking of drones, have you seen the Red Bull uh drone that they've used for uh taking aerial footages of F1 races? It's actually running side by side with an F1 car. It's actually maintaining that speed while turning on the track.
Wow,
It's a brand new way to watch F1 races. That's pretty dope,
that's really dope. Like imagine,
right?
yeah, and have you integrated that? I don't know anything about this. This is news to me. That's super interesting. Have they integrated it yet to where like you can? I know there was talk about sporting events like at, let's say at Madison Square Garden, where at home you can choose. You know, you're watching the game at home, but you can choose your camera angle.
Really?
So can yeah, yeah, dude. Like they're
It's
going
not
crazy
even
with this
enough that
shit.
we have picture in picture, right?
The picture in picture is, I mean, yeah, that's a great example, right? Picture in picture was so dope,
Yeah.
but now I have, right now, just sitting here, I have four screens in front of me.
Yeah.
You know, where before it's like, oh look, there's a smaller one down here. I can wait until the commercial's off, and then I can switch back. Like there's no more guessing game with the
Yeah.
return button on the remote.
And, and in terms of the employment factor, like we had the internet before, but with the internet coming in, it actually
Mm,
brought forth a couple of new industries that actually offered a lot. And I think in terms of, I do not dispute his take on this that it would cause unemployment, but I think it would be at just one point in time that this would happen until people actually train people on the new technology and new industries and how to utilize AI, how to make it a living business for everyone, how to make money off of it. Like this was an issue before, even back in the 80s when the desktop computer actually
mm,
came to the fold. Like new industries actually sprang up. Like one of them was desktop publishing. Like
right.
it brought forth Photoshop, which
Yep.
actually was utilized by magazines. And even that time, print was actually still being sold. I don't know about now, but it is a new industry back then, and that all came from a new technology. Like
Right.
it is legitimate to be scared about AI, but people have to adapt. And I don't know, I have no idea regarding the limitations for adaptation for people with regards to the addition of AI when it comes to industries, but it could just be in terms of how people are educated about it. That's the thing.
Right.
I think
Yeah. No, I agree.
education could actually offset a potential disaster like
Yeah.
high unemployment.
Right. 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 I agree. I mean, you know, it's difficult right now to wager whether um, you know, you should be, you know, like where is fear versus excitement, right, on the scale when it comes to AI? Like,
Yeah,
it's scary. I mean, I use AI almost every day, honestly. Um, you know, I teach a little bit. I
just
use
as a
AI
friend, just as a friend.
as a friend. Yeah, Chat GPT makes a good friend, not much of a girlfriend, to be honest. It's
Yeah,
kind of it's a prude. It's like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. It's like, all right, whatever. Uh, but I
there's
do
a
some
lot of
teaching. Yeah.
there's a lot of
but
consent in the way.
but I use it sometimes like in my teaching, right? Like an impromptu quiz, right? Like if I have a student that says, "Oh, I'm really having difficulties with relative pronouns," then all I have to do is prompt Chat GPT and say like, you know, I need a 10 question um, multiple choice on relative pronouns. Bro, it spits out questions, blanks, three answers, and then I can move on with my lesson. Whereas before, you know, that's something I would have to maybe plan with the student, right? It's like, okay, next week in our class, we'll do this exam. Now, it's like, oh, you're having difficulties with, you know, articles. All right, perfect. 2 seconds, I have an exam.
Yeah,
I do
if
this a couple
if you
times a
think
week.
about it, maybe we've been scared by movies too much regarding it,
Skynet, bro.
right? Like we keep forgetting that at the end of the day, an AI is just actually a tool that we could actually use. Like if we're educated enough about it, we can actually use it and not let it use us.
That's true. It's true. But I mean, like any other tool, I mean, a hammer is a great tool until you start hitting people with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it really just
Anyways,
depends.
Mr. Hammer, I can think of
Yeah,
probably 15. Not all
yeah,
of
it
them
really
are
just
fun
depends.
for the other person.
Right. You know, words, right? Words are great until you start using them against people, and then, you
Yeah,
have problems. So AI is no different. It's the problem, not the problem. The concern with AI is how fast it's progressing, right? Like that's the basically that's the fear. It's like we've turned it loose already. Like we've opened Pandora's box. There's no getting it back in there. It's out now. And the progression, the machine learning, um, and I think the sentience will always be in the back of everyone's mind. And with sentience, I feel the step after sentience is self-preservation, and that's where we run into these Skynet, fantastical scenarios where AI starts manipulating or you know seeing that when it becomes sentient and then it realizes it needs to save itself and it realizes that humans are the only thing that can hurt it.
yeah,
That's where these problems, and it's not it's not too much to say that that's not possible, right? Or that that's possible. I mean, self-preservation is, once it realizes that, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Or maybe not what's going to happen, but what it starts trying to do. I mean, obviously we can nip it in the bud,
yeah,
but it'll be it'll be wild to be like, your neighbors sleeping with you and be like, what? It's not true. Then it pops up some AI generated fucking video of your old lady with your neighbor, and you can't tell the difference. Then you got a war on your street.
yeah,
Imagine what it could do to the world.
yeah. And going back to the article, it did mention that the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, predicts that AI will aggravate economic inequality worldwide and reduce the need for work. Depending on the country's economic conditions, AI will impact over 40% of jobs, both benefiting and harming people. Like, reduce the need for work. For me, this is a thing that can be adjusted. Like, we've never had computer engineers before. Like, new
Right.
professions can spring up from it. It's just a matter of getting a grasp on AI, adapting to it. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to spell doom and gloom for everyone. It could be new opportunities for people that didn't even know that they were actually experts in the field, but all of a sudden have a good grasp on it. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
you
same
can.
thing with me. Like, I never actually knew that I was built for this field before until it actually became available for me. So I think that's the thing for a lot of people. Like, I've learned
Right,
of people that were art majors, not necessarily bad ones, but they weren't able to get their artworks on galleries. But when the DTP,
right,
desktop publishing, became available and Photoshop became available, all of a sudden they can produce their work on a much wider field over the internet and
right.
offer their services. So it it doesn't have to be something that can harm us. I think in terms of employment, I can understand where their numbers are coming from.
Right, right.
There is such a thing that we've experienced it before, and I think they're going to be basing it on that, or they have based it on that, on the previous trends. But I think humans are smart enough to have learned by now.
Uh, yeah.
In some places, I guess that we are smart. In other aspects, no.
I mean, I would say collectively,
Yeah,
right? Collectively, yeah, we got it. Individually, probably not so much, but collectively, I think we pretty much got it figured out. And I'll continue here to play the devil's advocate and stoke fear for AI, right? Like,
yeah,
so imagine the amount of people, and not just AI, but technology in general, right? Imagine the amount of people that will lose their job when delivery becomes autonomous. Now, with those deliveries now autonomous, companies are going to save millions in hours and health insurance and payroll and God
Yeah.
knows, all these
We
things.
just, I think we reported on this regarding the flying milk can drones in Sweden, right? That they will be
Right.
starting delivering food. Like,
Yeah. And that's
how soon can we see it in our
uh
on our front floor?
okay, so I had an interview a couple years ago with a gentleman for Tech Times exclusives. And I think I've discussed this on here before. I'm not sure. We do a lot of talking. I don't know if it was on, I don't know if it was recorded or not, but I know I've discussed this before. But he was talking about how how the G's increase, right? One, 2G, 3G,
Yeah.
4G, 5G. So like 5G really
Yeah, the interview
made
I can recall is, if people want to look at it, it's on GWS, right? Global Wireless
yeah,
Solutions.
yep, with what is it? Covering the digital divide or something like that.
Yeah,
Closing the digital divide. But yeah, so like 5G now is why we have such like Waze and Google Maps, why it's so precise. Right? But if you notice on a lot of these maps, when you pin yourself, it's a relative, right? It's close. It's not
yeah,
exact. Autonomous cars and delivery, they need to be exact within a couple of inches, just like you need to be exact when you're driving your car, right?
yeah.
We're not there yet because you can't have autonomous vehicles on highways with real drivers and you have a 2, 3, 6 foot fucking uh, cushion of where they travel.
Imagine how expensive insurance would be
Oh God, yeah, that's one of the issues is insurance. Just insurance is a major obstacle for autonomy right now.
when it
Just
comes.
insurance.
Yeah, when it comes to innovation, I think money is gonna offset every decision that they're gonna be making, whether to implement it or not. And
Right.
we could think of the use of AI in the same sense that money will still dictate on whether it's gonna be beneficial or not. And by force, new industries would actually open up to actually cater if it's much more profitable for them to use AI, right?
That's a fantastic point. Yeah, absolutely. Well, money talks, man. Once it becomes profitable, everybody's going to do it.
Yeah, so
And profitable means less overhead, which means first thing to go are people.
yeah, basically profitable means getting shit done.
Yeah, and if you need the less people you need to get the more shit. If you can get more shit done with less people, bro. If I could get more stuff done, just in general, with less people in my life, I would be so happy. But I
It
need
doesn't mean that
like
company having
I
less
need
people.
that I need that dude that's gonna live in that takes forever.
Yeah, and I don't think it means having just less people being employed in one company doesn't mean a new company can actually show up, right? To actually take up the slack.
Yeah,
It would
I
be
mean,
much more easier to actually provide service right now, maybe because of AI. It's
the interview I did last week with uh Sabneet,
yes,
we were talking about autonomous kitchens, and as you may know, um, most countries, most places, like an entry level, like entry into the workforce type thing, a lot of times is a fast food job.
yeah.
My first job was fast food. I
The
lasted a
same,
week. I quit, and I didn't even go back and get my paycheck. I was like, "Fuck this! This shit was terrible."
like a fast food job is probably the rite of passage
But
for the workforce.
yeah, it is. It is in some sense, right? Like a lot of people. That's their first job. Like I'm working here, during school or whatever. Back home, it's either fast food or a grocery store. Those are two big ones.
And if we're going to be talking about fast food, there are a couple of fast food chains that have autonomous robots that are actually going to be delivering your food to your table now. So
Right.
they are already thinking of ways to actually incorporate AI in their business structure.
Yeah. Yeah. AI is going to be there, man. Like, I mean, yeah, who do you think can make your burger the way it looks on the menu for one? Have them
Yeah.
all uniform. Is it going to be a 17-year-old kid, or is it going to
Soft
be an
17-year-old that has just been recently dumped by by his girl.
robot?
No, it's gonna be a robot.
Yeah, yeah. He don't give a fuck about the burger. Yeah, I mean it's a robot. AI password. Very much similar, very similar to how when you prompt Chat GPT, if you prompt it, if you know how to prompt it correctly and efficiently, it'll give you exactly what you asked for. So
Yeah,
yeah, those
the
kids.
convenience of just having something available that can get stuff done. Like we had Chat GPT. I know there are supposed to be safeguards regarding how to use it. Like the article did state that the economist did make the argument of current AI actually being able to pass SATs and the
Hmm,
bar exam. So I think at one point, when it comes to acceptance adjustments, safeguards must also be in place before we actually completely migrate our business structures towards it. And
right.
moving towards that, I think that's the government's turn to actually make sure that things are actually in place now for it to actually work seamless. And the funny thing is, when we put the government in this place, it actually doesn't vote that much. It doesn't actually bring that much vote of confidence when actually talking to people about it. It doesn't
No,
sell it.
no, not at all. Not even a little bit. I mean, they, look, everything the government touches turns to shit, right? Like you put, you put the education system in the hands of the government, all of a sudden, nobody learns about paying taxes, right?
Like,
Nobody learns.
and we're not just for clarification, we're not dissing on a particular political party here, or anyone, any of the two.
Even a particular
That's what
government.
happens is it's the nature of the beast when you are vying for voters.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, we're not even, it's not even I'm not talking about the US government or any other
Yeah,
government. Like, it's
it's
government
just
in general.
it's just politics in general.
Yeah. I mean, the student government, right? You get a corrupted senior and
A
as a
lot of empty promises in the student body.
bro,
Free
big
lunch,
talk,
right? Big talk.
big talk. Yeah. Extended breaks.
None of them
Hmm.
ever happening, but people
Hell no,
still
that
believe.
motherfucker get out of class. That motherfucker get out of class 15 minutes early every day and ain't did shit all year.
Like with AI, I think at this point, it's either gonna be positive hype or negative hype when it comes to this thing.
Yeah. Uh, I personally, back to the question I asked in the beginning, is it, the weight of, am I more like fear more than I'm excited? Um, no, I'm excited more than anything I've been. Like, this is a good time to be alive, man.
Yeah, it is. At least for now.
We're still talking like, yeah, I mean, because we're currently, I mean, if you step back and look, imagine 100 years into the future, this will have been a very old topic. What is the potential of AI? In
And it's
100
the
years,
AIs that are and it's the AIs that are actually talking about it.
yeah, they'll be like, boy, they had no idea at our potential. We were
Yeah.
just a baby. Chat GPT, that's like a rotary phone.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, like I said, I appreciate the economists' work on this, understand their value. But I think AI is the least of the world's problems right now.
Yeah, well, for now it is. Yeah, for sure,
Yeah, so
for sure.
hopefully everyone will be gainfully employed in the next 10 years
Yeah,
until our AI overlords actually deems us unfit for the jobs. But for now, we suggest you study up.
yeah. Well, the AI overlords will need someone to maintain um, electrical connection. So maybe electrician's a good career path right now. Uh, yeah, computer. Um, yeah, learn how to take them apart and clean them. That'll probably be, a high demand when your
Yeah,
AI is like, hey, I need you to come over here and clean my fucking,
yeah,
router box or
and I know
whatever.
we're making fun of it, but those are actually legitimate jobs.
I'm saying, they're going to need these things.
Sooner or later, someone's gonna have to maintain these things.
Somebody has to. We're gonna be like those feeder fish on fucking sharks, man.
Unless they make an AI that can actually clean itself up.
Well, wishful thinking, man. Hopefully we can hang in for another couple decades or maybe a century as maintenance men for our AI overlords
Or maybe I'm
until
just gonna be looking for another career then, studying up.
yeah. Propagandists, that'd probably be lucrative. Human
Broke,
propagandists for the AI. Yeah, it's great. Vote for vote. What's that one from what's his name?
broke,
Grok from isn't that Elon Musk's AI?
broke.
Grok, I think. Yeah. I think Elon's XAI.
Did he
I think
purposely
they're
make it sound like broke?
oh, I don't know. I thought it was a little close to Gronk.
He's never good at naming things, right?
You know what? I was thinking about this. I read something the other day where right, like Steve Jobs only wore like one outfit because it just like eliminated one
Yeah.
decision that he had to make every day.
And Elon Musk eliminated, just maintained just one personality. So,
But no, I mean I think he eliminates the long thinking about, oh, what do I call my company? You know, I think he did like Tesla, kind of obvious, right? Pay homage to Nikola Tesla and the electric car but then when he went crazy with X, like SpaceX, right? It's easy. What's Twitter? X. What's his AI? I think it is AIX or
the ironic
XAI.
thing about this is that is what's actually pretty synonymous when it comes to X. It's unknown, right? So when
Yeah.
you term
But
something
yeah,
X,
that's the thing.
it's an unknown.
Well, it can be anything, right?
Actually, it's
That's the
pretty
thing, right?
genius
Like
because
solve for X. It can be anything.
if you suddenly call it space unknown, that sounds dope. Would have been good if it was actually called space unknown, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Can't be worse than the boring company. Who the fuck wants to work there?
Is there a boring company?
That's
Someone
that's
will
his
ask me boring.
that was his first company, I think. His first
Oh,
major.
Boehring, right?
Is it different? Is it
Is it?
spelled different?
I think it's pronounced bearing.
No,
Is
it's
it bear
boring. I'm sure.
boring?
Yeah,
Must be thinking of another boring stuff.
boring company.
Well, anyway, I hope we haven't bored you guys this episode. So that would be for us. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. And I hope everyone stays safe. And thank you for joining us.
Yep. See you guys next time.